are literally popping off right now. So in a lot of my videos, I've been saying just how broken this setting is. While that's technically true, this isn't the full truth. The main point of the setting is to allow mappers to signal that their map is for the N+1 playstyle, and allow players to customize how they want to play said maps to an extent. The in here lets us know that it worked for a number of different key counts, but I'll go more into that later. For now, let's just stick to 8 key. If you're playing a 7+1 map, and you want to have a special lane on the right side, this is where you can use the setting. But this might not always be the best option. A lot of times, mappers are aware of how awkward certain combinations of keystrokes might be when incorporating the special key, so a lot of patterns are designed around this. In the X difficulty of F, we can see how the rows all lead neatly into the special lane, as well as the adjacent column, making this chord. Turning N+1 to the right side, and we're left with this weird split jump troll pattern that's objectively harder. And as far as I can tell, there's probably no star rating bonus or PP added from playing in this way. Another more obvious example would be something like this. It's common to see jump troll patterns incorporate the scratch lane on the same hand. Using N+1 to the right side, and the entire pattern becomes a bracket. So in most cases, if you do like the special key being on the right side, you're better off just using the mirror mod. It will keep all of the notes and columns relative to one another, and all the patterns will play as intended. Now, the main issue here is that this setting doesn't do anything, and the players are allowed to toggle on N+1 keybinds regardless if the map uses this setting or not. Simply go to the keybind section in Mania, go to 8 key, and select the style you wish to play as. Depending on which drop-down option is selected, that's how the map will be played. You even have the option to select a supplemental bind if you know you're going to be playing some scratch-heavy maps. As I said before, this should work for any map regardless if N+1 is toggled on or not. And for the other key counts, looking through the options, it seems like 6, 10, 12, and 18 are the only other key counts you can use this for. 5, 7, 14, and 9 do not allow this, and I guess that makes sense, seeing as 5+1 is an actual playstyle. But 10, 12, 14, those should all be doubled, as there will usually be scratch lanes on both sides of the playfield. But anyway, for 6 and 10k, this tends to break the map entirely. Each column gets shifted over one, and this can cause some weird and awkward unwanted side effects. For 10k, a lot of maps are built around symmetry and having the two hands be balanced. When you shift all the columns over by one, you get weird one-handed patterns or a lot of asymmetric patterns that happen slightly to the left or the right of the playfield. It honestly plays like a sound sphere converted map. For 6k, this has the potential of making some map patterns either really easy or really hard, but this might balance out over the course of the map. And what I mean by that is, maps that use a lot of brackets probably also include a lot of easier patterns here or there too. So when you have all of the hard patterns turn easy and the easy ones turn awkward, it sort of cancels out in a way. There is one map in particular where playing N+1 to the right seems to make it easier. Just pay attention to the side by side. I feel like I could definitely SS the right one, where the left one has a bit more tricky patterns with holding the LNs on the outside and doing staircases on the inside. I'm sure there's a lot of other map examples where it effectively negates any other possible hard patterns, and there doesn't seem to be any indication whether the player played with N+1 bindings or not. It seems a bit disingenuous to play the same map completely different and to have your score ranked against them, so this does seem like a minor issue that should probably be brought up. The obvious solution to this problem would be to only allow for this type of bindings for maps that specifically have the setting enabled. Even though I wouldn't recommend using the setting at all, as Mirror does a better job, it would at least make sense this way and wouldn't break map playability as much. 10 plus keys should also have N+2 at the very least, as those higher key count playstyles are considered double of the lower ones in OSU, so that would make more sense. And maps that do have the setting enabled should have some sort of symbol on them, kind of like how low OD maps have this arrow. Most of the client-side changes will probably happen in Laser though, and there's probably going to be an entire rework of how setting keybinds go in that game, such as double bindings and specific settings for special key maps. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. Either way, in most cases you can just leave the setting to normal style, and just pick the keybinds however you want. Special key indication is usually done through skinning, and most ranked maps aren't too scratch heavy that would really warrant needing double binds. But then again, maybe it would be a good idea to learn this sort of playstyle early on. Who knows?